Here's what we're not going to do. Here's what we're not going to do. Okay? Everybody stay with me. We will not be saying the B word if Texas walks away with the victory. We will not be saying those 4 letters combined that make us believe that Texas is, no, we're not going to do that. Because to be B-A-C-K, and I can't say it because if I say it 3 times, Pandora's box opens up and a world of college football hurt rains down on me. What we're not going to do for Texas to be that way, you have to do it consistently. And I will admit, last season, I believe Texas would have beaten Alabama if Quinn Ewers does not get hurt in the first quarter. As an Alabama alum, I'm not even being biased here. I'm just going to say it like it is. Alabama struggled with its defensive line play. They were unable to add in pressure on either Hudson Card or Quinn Ewers besides the hit on Dallas Turner. Will Anderson Jr., who is going to be a superstar at the NFL level, did not record a sack. And the secondary was a hit and miss at times. It just was. That's the way you have to put it. There was a lot of positives for Alabama in this game. There were plenty of negatives. In fact, you could say that there were a lot of negatives in this matchup. But they did find a way to get a win. Bryce Young scoots and boots his way for a first down, which leads to a Will Reichard game-winning field goal, and 20-19 is the final score. Texas very well could absolutely win this game. They have the talent on offense. They are loaded at the Arsenal position. Like, as much as we want to talk about what Alabama did against Middle Tennessee State, Texas also can go toe-to-toe in terms of weaponry for Quinn Ewers. And Jalen Milroe does have good receivers, and he does have a very solid security blanket at tight end. And there are talented players defensively. Kool-Aid McKinstry. You also have Dallas Turner. You have Deontay Lawson. Caleb Downs, the freshman phenom at safety. He made a big impact in the first game. They have the talent, but on the other side, you got to deal with A.D. Mitchell. You have to deal with Xavier Worthy, one of the best deep shot vertical receivers in college football. You got to deal with the slot option in Jordan Whittington. You have to deal with Jatavion Sanders, who is a very complete tight end. He can block. He can run routes. He's got surefire hands. They have a decent run game. C.J. Baxter, he was the first running back since Ricky Williams to take starting reps with the Longhorns. They also have Jonathan Brooks. They also have Jaden Blue. They can do things. And the offensive line, it had its struggles. It did against Rice. Like, Quinn Ewers was under pressure and under duress a lot. But it is a veteran unit. You are getting back Cole Hudson. Kelvin Banks, I think, has the opportunity to be an All-American on the left side. Jake Majors has had like 30-plus starts in his last 3 years. He's been a constant staple under center since joining the team on the 40 acres. And defensively, this team is really good. Like, defensively, you need to be paying attention to Jalen Ford if you are a draft guru, because if the kid can play in coverage, he's had another interception after having 4 last year. They added in veteran talent on the defensive side, like Gavin Holmes from Wake Forest and Jalen Catalon from Arkansas. They have guys like Jahade Barron. They have guys such as Tavondre Sweat and Baron Sorrell on the defensive line. They can hold their own against Alabama, and they have a good rapport. And here's the best part. If you are trying to beat the GOAT and Nick Saban, you better have a game plan of how he emulates and how he works. Steve Sarkisian watched it for 2 straight years. Really 3 if you include like the year that he was an analyst. He watched it. He has seen all the ins and outs, and he knows what Nick Saban is dialing up in his brain. And that's dangerous. That's very dangerous if you are Alabama. And I got to still see what you're getting in Jalen Milroe. I still have to see what you're getting in this rushing attack with Justice Haynes and Jace McClellan. I still got to see what you have at wide receiver. I got to figure out what this team can be. And it's going to take some time. But just because Texas pulls off the upset, and just because Texas proves that this year is going to be different than in years past, that this team means business, it can hold its own weight, it can punch its ticket to potentially Arlington and maybe even further. To be back, you have to do it consistently. It's one thing to get a massive win over any team in college football, any major institution, like Texas beating up on Michigan would be phenomenal, or Michigan beating up on Ohio State. It's great. Or say Nebraska underneath Matt Rule, or Colorado with Deion Sanders. They find ways to get upsets galore. USC loses to Deion. That's going to be something that we will talk about on no one's business. Or Nebraska finding a way to maybe get an upset win over a Michigan or an Ohio State or Penn State for that matter. It's great. But to be BACK, because of, again, I can't say that word. We can't do it on this show. To say that word and to be that way, you then can't drop a game to a lesser opponent. And that's where Texas has fallen apart. Last season, I get it. Oklahoma, they had a down year with Brent Venables running the show. They were not the same Sooners that we all knew. They weren't. But still, they had talent. You can't go up 49-0 and have Quinn Ewers deliver a performance of a lifetime with 4 TDs and have like a 70% completion percentage and be able to really show dominance in the Red River Showdown. And then 2 weeks later, throw for 35% and 3 interceptions against Oklahoma State. That doesn't make you BACK. It just doesn't work. You can't lose to a Baylor team that lost all of its starting talent, that has a brand new offensive system, a brand new offensive line, and not be able to perform. You can't lose to a team like Iowa State. You got to be able to show that you can handle business in the primetime spotlight and then be able to go toe-to-toe and really make mincemeat out of lesser competition. That's when you know you're a BACK. That's when you know that things are changing for the better. And until you see it, you can't say that you are. And we have had this happen time and time again before. Remember back when Texas punched it in at the goal line in overtime against Notre Dame, and you heard Joe Tessitore utter those 4 letters? Texas is. Nope. What'd they finish that year? What happened to Charlie Strong? What happened to that team? What happened when Texas found a way to dismantle Georgia in the Sugar Bowl, and Sam Ehlinger stands up on stage and he throws up the HOOKEM and he lets Longhorn Nation know nope. Because of the next year, you didn't capitalize. You didn't build off that. You didn't have the same success, and it was kind of a one and done. You didn't make it back to Arlington. You didn't win the Big 12 title. You didn't go ahead and handle your business against the teams that you were supposed to. And then last season, you have a phenomenal recruiting class. You absolutely work the transfer portal in your favor, and people are starting to buy in on the 40 acres, and people are starting to realize that maybe Sark knows what he's doing. And that's why I think that Sark's going to survive this year no matter what happens. They go 8-4, they go 9-3, they go 11-1. It doesn't matter, because if he knows how to recruit and he knows how to build a roster. But at some point, roster construction is one part, development of talent is another. That's the problem here. And so you got to be able to see it happen. You got to be able to believe that just because if they hang 40 up on Alabama in the house that Nick Saban continued to build, that Bear Bryant laid the foundation on and had it named after, you got to be able to show that once you play against teams like Houston, against teams like Iowa State, against teams like Oklahoma State, which you won't play this year, that you are still holding that same mentality. And until you do that on a consistent basis, no, I don't even care anymore. You are not back. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that video. Don't hit the X button yet. Make sure you hit subscribe to keep up with all of our daily content found on Just Saying It and anything else that we post on this channel. Bye.